Here at Satera Software, we chose RapidFort to help us reduce our CVEs on our images, produce more secure software from the beginning, and then track our compliance not only from a vulnerability standpoint, but also from a checklist and sub-control framework standpoint as well. With our OpenRMF Professional, you can not only read in vulnerability scans from RapidFort now, you also can read in SCAP scans using DISA benchmarks to quickly create checklists for your different images based on a DISA benchmark that can run. In this example, we're using our OpenRMF Pro Web. It is based on canonical Ubuntu because we use the -jammy-rfcurated images or hardened images. And then when it does a DISA SCAP scan, it can use the Ubuntu DISA benchmark, generate your checklist right here, fill out most of the information, what's not applicable, what's not a finding, and then show you what's left. With OpenRMF Professional, you can actually quickly go through and see and filter which items in here are not applicable, which items are not a finding, and then which items you still have left to review based on that benchmark. RapidFort actually uses the DISA benchmarks and runs a scan with the context of, hey, we actually use this as an image, not as a console and not with a GUI. If we switch over to the RapidFort interface, we can see right here for OpenRMF 213, we've loaded all our different images in here. Here's the user interface. It tells you the number of vulnerabilities you currently have, and that's ongoing as they add new and more and then rescan. We started with 364 in the last version. We're down to 82, and we're getting ready to go through and run their profiler to harden our images, shrink our software bill of material, and get this number down even lower. The trick is for running the different benchmarks, you have to use a base image that already has an underlying operating system that has a known good DISA benchmark. That's why we chose the -jammy-rfcurated images to start with. So as an example, here's OpenRMF Pro Web. We showed you that earlier. And if you go to security benchmarks, you can actually see these are all the results that we have from that benchmark against our image. We then took that, downloaded that as a JSON file, and then uploaded that into our system package in OpenRMF Professional. Our parser will take that, create the checklist, match it up, and then fill in all the relevant info. You'll see several of these are already marked not applicable. If you look at the more information, it will give you the reasons why here, the remediation information. This right here, this is why it's not applicable the way that it's run. RapidFort has spent a lot of time to figure out how do you run these, how do you benchmark these, how do you scan them, and then how do you apply the context of, hey, this is actually run as a container. We're not having people log in. It's not a GUI. It's not a console. This runs as a container. What does that mean? And then it scans it from there. It's very simple to do. We'll show you this here real quick. So right here, we've picked Keycloak. We have Keycloak with some of our theme and other information in there. It actually has the jammy-rfcurated as the base. You can see right here. That's how we named it. If you go under security benchmarks, you'll see we've already run this. But we're going to show you how this actually happens. So if you go ahead and click scan, you choose the canonical STIG version 2.3 right here. It already knows Ubuntu is under here. It's going to give you this command right here to use. Now this requires you to run this at a terminal window using the RapidFort command line interface, which we have installed on our machine. So if we switch over to a terminal window, we're going to go ahead and paste that command in here and then let that run. We have already logged into our platform. We already have our RF login set up, so it already knows who we are. And then based on that command that it wants to copy, it's going to run, it's going to scan, it's going to look at all the information, it's going to save it back to the RapidFort UI, the way we run this command, and then we're going to be able to view it and download it from there. And we're done. You'll see the information here. You'll see the items right here, 3 not checked. If we go back to our user interface right here and we refresh the page, you'll see now, because we already had one, you'll see now it's 2 of 2, 1 of 2 right here. You can go back and forth. This is all the information. The numbers look the same. They're right here. Now that we have this here, what we can do again is go to export, security benchmark results, choose JSON, and then export that there. Now that we have that, we can upload that file using OpenRMF Professional and then see what the results are based on the checklist for Keycloak OpenRMF Pro 2644 jammy-rfcurated. We're going to go into our system package, checklist, upload right here. Let's load that file in. upload. You'll see it was successful. And now if we go to our checklist listing, you'll see it right here. You can go into the checklist. You can look at all the information here, see which ones are non-defining. There are a lot that are not applicable because, again, the way that it's running in the context of an image or a container, and then the ones that are left over. This looks very similar to the OpenRMF Pro Web one because it's running that underlying Ubuntu operating system, and the scan finds similar information in there as well. Now we can actually use this, go through it, use this as a checklist, look at the remediation in the RapidFort user interface if we need more detail to fill in. You can edit, you can lock, you can bulk edit with all the other features we have. The other thing you can do is this. Now that you have your information loaded, your checklist as you go through and load them over and over again, under compliance, we can generate compliance against these checklists because they are DISA-based checklists against our RMF 5, moderate, moderate, moderate right here. So let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and title it, give it my description, run it. There's only a couple checklists, it won't take long. And then here we go. We already start to meet some of the access control, auditing, configuration management. There's some things under IA we still need to fix, SC, SI, but you'll notice that we have controls, we have subcontrols in here. They point to the source of those checklists we just uploaded from a DISA-based benchmark of our image. It's a pretty unique feature for RapidFort. So we decided to work with them to integrate that and pull that into OpenRMF Professional so we can help you automate cyber compliance, even around software images and the software stacks you're pushing out. Access control, disable inactive accounts, all that's in here, again, by the family, the control, the actual source. And if you wanted to look at the actual information here in the checklist, click on it here. And you can filter your checklist information and the vulnerabilities down by that actual control or subcontrol, and your whole team can look through and identify this for your cyber compliance as well. After you go through and you do those and you see how it works, you can also go to your other technology scans, look at the different information on your vulnerabilities, see where you are on that, and then again, use RapidFort and their profiler to harden, shrink your SBOM, get your image into the limited number of CVEs possible, and go from there. For more information, you can go to www.rapidfort.com and see how their software works. Contact them for that. Or you can go to soteriasoft.com and then click on the Try Live button where you'll see this information here, as well as request a live demo or even download and fully evaluate the software for you and your team to see how we can help you automate your cyber compliance.